dishes and stuff like that, and to take their bath. And then this little shop you see on the side here, at one time there was an engine in there to run all this this shop here. There was a Perkins, I think, motor in there. You used to start it with a crank. And then they used to have a shaft right in the center here. There was a big shaft right in the center. And that shaft, they had belts to run all machinery. There was still the thing on the wall at different places. There was one there with different speed you wanted to run the lathe. So you could see it there. It's a four-speed there. It's for the belts. And then there was an arm there you could to shove it in and take it out. There's a kind of a clutch on there. And then there's over here, after the engine went away, Fern Gravel, he used to use that for repair the engines. He used to bring the engines in there of the small boats, diesels and Cummings and stuff like that, and he used to repair them in there. Before they had the shop a little across the road here, and they used to repair them in there, and then they took that apart, and then he came in here to repair his diesels. And that's why this, and then they had a rope on this. They had a pulley out. You can see the hole there. There's a hole on the side, and they had a round pulley there. And they'd used a rope, used to go through there and go in the other shop. And they used to run all the planer and everything in the other shop. And then they took the rope off, and they had an engine on the side to run that shop. They had each an engine. But they had a rope, and they would splice the rope together. And that's the way they used to run the other shop. The one motor used to run the two shops. In here, that's where they used to make all the wood. Like there was a sawmill over there. They used to bring the wood in here, and it was a planer here. They used to plane the wood in here. And then they had another saw here to make it the width you want. And then there was another planer on the side here. And at the other end, there was another we'll say to make oars and stuff like that. It was another kind of a lathe in there for wood. And if you see on the side here, it's a big bandsaw. And that's for cutting big pieces. We'll say the spool boom and anything. They had the boats here at one time that were made out of wood. And the sides was 4 inches thick, and they used to cut the pieces in there, and then they'd cut for oars in there too. There was pieces, they'd cut them just the right size for the oars. And then after that, they used to put the piece of wood on the lathe and make the oars the way they wanted them. And quite a few pass in here. Was Perro, was Moore, and there's quite a few worked in here. You could see one of the oars there, but it's not the ones that they used for the big boats was longer than that, and they had no pin on the center because they had a kind of oarlock. They called it oarlock. There was 2 pins, and the oar just fit between to row, and there was a man on each row, on each oar, on each side. Because usually the big boats here, there were 8 men, 8 rowers, and 2 front boat and the back boat, 2 men to steer the boats. And then there was some 6-oar boats. There was 4-oar boats, and everything was pretty well made all in here, all through. The opemican here, they used to make everything here. Most of they just bring the stuff like the iron and everything. They used to bring it all and make everything here. So that's why this opemican depot. It's a place. It's a very old place, but it's a place where they used to make everything pretty near just like they do in town now with the big shops. And they see the little cupboard in there. That used to be all the straps in there for all the buildings here. You used to had a lot of straps around here at that time on both sides. And it was all kinds of different old machinery in here. You could see the bolts on the side. That used to be a drill. A big drill was in there, hand drill at that time, where you could see all the big bolts there. So it used to be a big hand drill. Used to be in there to drill iron and to drill all kinds of stuff. After that, they got one they got one electric, so they used to run it on the other side. Now this shop here, it was to build boats. There was a track coming in here. There was a building. You could see all the piers outside here, and there was a big building there to put all the rowboats in. And then there used to be a track coming from there into here, and they repaired them here, and put tar on them, and to fix them in the spring, and then they used to build some here. Laurent Perrault worked here for a long time, and then Gordon Moore worked here for a long time, and Euclid Moore worked here. So they were all, these fellows were all handymen all around here. Any repair they do all around the buildings. And then at the same time, when they had nothing much to do, they would build some boats here. That's why this shop here, you could, the length of this shop and everything. And they had all the tools in here at one time to do that, to rebuild all the boats and everything. So this is a very old building too. It's one of the first buildings they built all around here, because that's why they needed them for the boats, to build the boats.
You had the charter, ICO had the charter for how many years on that river here?
They had signed for 100 years, that was their charter. And then I think they last for about 180 years.
180
They had a little extension on it.
Yeah, the charter was covering the territory from Ottawa up to...
from the bridge at North Temiskaming right down to Ottawa.
Right down to Ottawa,
Yeah,
and it was to supply all the lumber companies, I guess,
Yeah.
that was along the Ottawa River shore.
Yeah, the company was, before it used to be quite a few companies. There was 12 companies, what I've heard. There was Gillis, Consolidated Batters, and then Eddie, and then Philip Morris.
Pembroke Lumber Company, Consolidated.
And the one had the mill there before the CIP. It was
Riordan.
Riordan.
Paper, yeah.
And Riordan, they're the ones pretty well started up above, I guess. But the ICO, all these companies, they made ICO. Because instead of all the companies buying boats, the ICO was just there to serve all the companies. Because of what it would cost, we would put the hours in for one company, and if we worked for the other company, we'd put the hours in. Each company were paying what we worked for. That's why the ICO had they were the boss of all the Ottawa River and Lake Temiskaming.
And they had all those companies had sawmill along the shore of the Ottawa River, but they had to mark their logs. Yeah. Some of them had, I remember, well, I didn't see that. I seen one log, but a turtle. The other one had a mark someplace else, and some had at the end.
Well, I seen the Gillis, they had a V. They put a V on the end and red paint on it. So when they would, different company, when they'd sort it, like Consolidated, they had it was yellow paint on it. So when they come to sort it, they would know what company it belonged to just by the color of the paint. And I wouldn't remember all the colors, the paint they put on them. But Booze, they had a turtle on it. They used to take an axe and put a kind of a turtle on it. That was their black mark. CIP had a K on it, on the end of their timber. Which was,
K again was for Kipwa Mill, very likely. And I remember seeing an H, which was Hawkesbury, we didn't mention, Hawkesbury Lumber. I guess they had a sawmill in Hawkesbury or someplace, I presume, in those days.
Because maybe, you see, the Consolidated Batters, they had one at Braeside.
Oh, yeah.
They bought Gillis out. Gillis was there, and then they bought Gillis out of Braeside. So they were bringing wood right from Belterre, dumping it at Ville Marie, and they got wood from Gillis. They were bringing wood down the Mattawitchuan River. That's way down by Tomalgamy.
They were bringing that on the Montreal River?
They would drive Rabbit Lake, Bass Lake, and then we had a chute. It was 300 feet difference from Lake Temiskaming to Trout Lake. And then we had a slide there at 1,500 feet of a slide. And
a wooden slide that sort of to...
No, it was an iron slide.
Iron slide?
Yeah. And the wood would go down so fast, the engineer said the wood was going down 55 miles an hour. So the wood would go faster and the water would go down, and the water would spray out of the slide. So don't wash the ground on both sides. They'd put bales of hay all along the side of the slide. Then the water would fall on the hay and wouldn't wash the land.
Ah. And when you were sorting those log with all the different companies there, that was below Mattawa, or was it
No,
where?
that was up here at the Naris. What they call
Oh,
it.
they up here?
Yeah, they called it the Naris here. They told me there was over 100 men there one time. It was the gap was there to sort all the true.
And a different area, well, some sort of a funnel, and say, okay, that log belongs to this, and then they would tow that different.
They had kind of a crib there with a walk across it, and the wood would come down, pass underneath this walk.
Catwalk or whatever you call that.
They had the different boom there, and they'd shove one and the other to different companies.
A little pocket, so that belongs to one company goes there, and hey, that must have been quite a chore to.
Yeah, well, I guess it was all the difference. When one would fill up and they'd bring it down, what one below the dam, what they'd send it below the dam, and what the rest they kept it above the dam. Here, companies there was.
The season will start at when you start in the spring, early in the spring.
Well, here we used to start about 1st of April.
1st of April, the
Yeah,
lake
repair.
the ice was gone on the lake,
No, but we used to do the repair.
or to get ready.
Yeah, the opemican did, they used to repair everything here. And we used to repair all the boats and paint them and everything. We used to use about 26 gallons of paint every year. To paint the buildings and paint the boats and paint everything. And so we would start about 15th of March painting the buildings.
And then the drive was coming in from up above, say Cairns Lake, and some of I know CIP was cutting way up past Val d'Or, and they were floating that.
Yeah. Usually we always went up the lake about about the 15th or sometime the 9th of May. And then the ice used to be opened up.
And then you start towing, and there were some logs to.
Soon, because the boat, to make the booms up at Cairns River, at Cairns Boom, the beaver, they used to bring them down here. All the boats, they used to bring them down here in the fall. And
Okay.
they put them on, because over here they had people working at the opemican all the time. And they used to take the snow off of the boats. The ones used to stay in the water. Then the beaver, they used to pull it up on the shore. And then when they finished repairing it, they'd put it in and bring up another one and repair it. Because they only had the one track for the small boats. And then for the big boats, well, they had the big
big ramp. And
the big ramp there for the big boats.
For the big boat.
Yeah.
That was.
Then the scows and everything, they leave them in the water all winter.
Oh, they leave them in the water,
Yeah.
in that bay here, I guess.
Yeah.
That's I'm thinking that was they had a planning to select that area here for
Yeah.
because I guess it's natural. You're away from, you're right at the Narrows,
Yeah.
and there's a bay for I guess to put the shelter.
It'd be all shelter for boats.
For boats, and I guess that they had a nice beach, and I guess they had somebody had planning to select that point here.
I guess this first old building was on the front here, and then I guess they.
That was, I guess, you tell me, was used for a stopover, right? From,
it used to be a place
from
where
Temiskaming to up here.
Yeah, they used to come by wagon or come by boats, and that time the boats was not going very fast, so they used to stop here maybe to sleep and eat, and then they
Stop over, and then they go up another.
Where
they will go? Will they go as far as far? Will they go? There was a place, Latour.
Yeah, well, Latour maybe.
Latour Mill, Latour Mill, whatever.
There was a couple of places there where they could stop. I guess Skippawa River, maybe there was one there. And then there was another one I know up above, they say near Fob someplace. And then they'd go up north that way.
No,
yeah, they go up by canoe or go up by boats, what the transport they had at that time.
Okay, they had McLaren's Bay, I guess. Why do they call that McLaren's Bay? That was another lumber company, the McLaren's.
Yeah, I guess that was McLaren's Bay.
There was there must be a history on that too, on the Ontario side.
I know there used to be a mill here at the Miskatonic on the interior side there. I just forget the name of that little mill, but they used to cut up in there, past McLaren's Bay days, there was the otter tail, they call it there.
Yeah.
And the wood used to come down there, and they used to tow that down to on the interior side there, right in front of the Miskatonic there. There used to be a mill there.
Now, getting back to the charter, I guess ICO, when it was first created, I think it was for the white pine. There was a big demand for the white pine. People from Ottawa and Montreal, I guess they were coming up. Cut the old guys were telling me that they select only the top tree, no defect, to cut it in the square timber then,
Yeah.
to tow that to Quebec City. I guess the ICU had the mandate to say, hey,
Yeah, well, at that time, I guess was maybe a different, before the ICO, maybe when the ICO started too.
I guess at the time they started, what they tell me was for the white pine. Like
Yeah.
you see, put the third line was for the sawmill. They were all established down below.
Yeah.
Ottawa area, Pembroke, I guess there was.
All through there, and then,
Empire, there was one in Empire, if I recall.
yeah.
And the last is that was Gillis and Consol, that right in
Consol,
Pembroke, in
yeah.
the town of Pembroke. There.
The three last company that was that, it was, well, Gillis, then Gillis sold out to Consol, and then was only Consol and CIP, and Consol had the Partage 4, that was for pulp, and then they had their sawmill at Brayside.
And of course, the one that after the pine era was gone, the white pine, they were using white pine to make boat apparently during,
Yeah.
they were taking that to England to make boat for the war, First
That's
World
what,
War, that's what they tell me. But the rest, after that, I guess you carry on till what, 78? There was CIP, and then
Yeah.
for many years.
Yeah, the first year, as what they say, they used to make rafts with white pine there, big rafts, and take them down to square wood. Like I said, that they put a tent on it, and they had a stove on there, kind of a tent with a sail, like kind of a sail, they push them down.
For the raft.
Yeah, for the raft, and they push them down.
For the
But all
square
these-
timber, they